Should you buy Bonelab? I've been playing a lot of Bonelab before launch, and is the hype actually real? Is the game actually worth its kind of pricey price tag of $39.99? Well, I'll actually let you know if you should actually buy this game, and just a word of warning, it's actually not for everyone. Okay, let's start with the good. The good stuff about this game. There's quite a bit good stuff about this game. That's not proper grammar. The graphics. Ooh. Crystal, crisp and clear. The Quest 2 graphics are amazing. This is the Quest 2 graphics right here. Look at this. Look at this on full screen. It just looks incredible for what it is on the Quest 2. It's so close to the PC VR version. It's amazing what they pulled off. Next up is physics. Physics is a big part of this game. Physics actually kind of makes this game. This is basically one of the most advanced physics that you'll have in a virtual reality game right now. And hey, it lives up to that part. This is a really advanced game when it comes to physics. There's gravity, there's a sense of weight. You can literally move everything and interact with everything that you see, which is really, really cool. Because a lot of VR games, sometimes your hands just go through the table, or when you're trying to pick something up, you can't pick it up properly. But this one, you can grab like a gun from any part of the gun, and it's really, really immersive because of that. Next up, the game is very much so a sandbox. Well, once you finish the campaign, it is anyway. You unlock a sandbox mode very quickly in the game, and you can go and revisit this at any point. It's basically an area where you can just bring in stuff that you find throughout the main campaign, and some of this stuff is really difficult to find. So you can just play around with weapons in here, go around in your little go-kart, or just beat up enemies like crazy inside this part of the game. That's what I enjoy doing anyway. Talking about sandbox, this game has a lot of replayability. Once you finish the main story, the main campaign, not really, but once you finish the main campaign, you can go back and collect the stuff that you missed the first time around, and there's a lot of fun ways to actually do the levels. You can do them differently, you don't have to do it the same way around, and there's probably details that you missed out on your first playthrough of the game. So hey, I'd recommend going back and checking out areas, seeing what you can find, and messing about. Once you have more skill, it's kind of cool to go back when you're a more skilled player and replay the parts that you were actually struggling with the first time around. And finally, the last of the good, this game has a lot of game modes, and I'm talking about a lot of game modes. This game has 7 game modes. I go through all of them in this video right here, so check that out after this one. But just for example, there's a parkour mode, there's sandbox. Now, onto the not so good, or the bad stuff about Bonelab, and maybe the reasons why some people won't be interested in buying this game, because it's not all flowers and daisies. I forget what the saying is. Glitter and gold? No, that's not it. You're okay. One with the fireflies now. Anyway, this game is kind of intense. Well, kind of intense, extremely intense. This game is for the pro VR player, someone who has their VR legs. You gotta be used to playing VR to play this game. It's not for the new users, and even for me, one part in the very beginning of the game, it was in an elevator scene, and I actually felt disorientated playing this. Now, I like that because you were kind of supposed to feel disorientated in this part, but for people who wouldn't like that, it could be a little bit disorientating because this game is very advanced and really makes you feel like you're the person there, so if the character is getting a little disorientated, you probably will too. Another thing that people might not be so happy about is that the game kind of feels tutorial-y. So let me explain. Basically, the main campaign kind of feels like it's leading you into the rest of the game and building up to the potential for people to build in modded content. Now, don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed it, and I'm gonna go back and play it again. But for some people who really play through this fast, it might go by kind of quickly, and then they'll be finished the main part of the game, and then they're just waiting on modded content to be added in. Now, moving on to modded content, as the time I was playing this game, there was none, because I played it before the game came out, so there isn't any mod support inside the game. But there is obviously after launch, so when you're watching this video, there's gonna be mods popping up, I'm sure, very quickly afterwards, and I'm really excited to see what the modding community actually brings to this game, because if you remember back to Boneworks, the modding community really helped build this game and keep it living for a long time. Talking about that, there's also an experimental mode, which is a cool thing to have. Basically, this is an area that the developers of this game are putting stuff in that they're not 100% sure with, or maybe they're just kind of fixing, kind of building on. And right now, there's a bowling alley place that you can go to with huge bowling balls that weigh an absolute ton. I have a lot of hope for this game, and I hope it encourages other developers to kind of take on with the really immersive style of physics that is in Bonelab or boneworks. This is something that VR, I feel, needs to build towards. Of course, there's kind of the issue when you're looking down at something, you see your whole body in the way, which can sometimes get in the way, but it is cool to have. I like having arms in VR, and this has arms in VR. Anyway, I'm going a little bit off track now. There's still a lot more you should know about the game before you buy it. That's why you should go and watch this video right here for 18 facts you need to know before you buy Bonelab. Oh, and if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe.